Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be looking at a post from r/BestofRedditorUpdates. I do love these because I love a good update. I'm just nosy and I need to know what happens in everything. So if you are like me with that also, and this sounds interesting to you, then stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Thank you. So, this one was originally posted to Best of Redditor Updates by Choice Evidence 1983. Obviously, not the original poster, just the person who's compiled it for us, which is obviously great. We do love it. That's why I love this subreddit. Someone else has done the legwork. So, the title is Am I the Butthole for Refusing to Close Our Marriage for the Sake of Our Children? Now, this one was posted obviously in Am I the Butthole first. The original poster is on the screen. Other than that, let's get into it and find out what is going on here. So, this was originally posted on the 28th of February 2025. I, 27M, would say I'm a bit of an awkward guy. I think my outward appearance can be deceiving on that front. I do well in situations where there are well established rules, like in work and business related interactions. When it comes to romance, I feel like I fall a little flat. I talk too long about things someone might not care about on first meeting. I ask too many questions, etc. Oh, preaching to the choir, my friend, because I am very much like that also. I don't think anyone would be surprised to hear that, by the way. My wife, 28F, has been interested in opening our relationship for a while. I was never against the idea, but she continually said she wanted me to try looking as well. I was happy just letting her have her own fun, but she said she only wanted to open things up if I was going out and meeting people too. Already a bit of an iffy dynamic here. An open relationship needs two very enthusiastic, partners. This does not seem like OP is enthusiastic about an open relationship. It seems like they're just like, do what you want kind of thing, maybe just to keep her happy. But I'm not getting the vibes of someone who is enthusiastically into an open relationship vibe. And even if they are someone who's like, yeah, I don't mind you doing it, but I don't want to do it myself, like the wife should just be accepting of that. Like, don't try and push someone into going with other people if they don't want to. Anyway, carrying on. And I did meet someone, that is. He, 31M, is so everything. He's witty and so smart. He's got the biting sense of humor that I'm genuinely obsessed with. He's quiet and deliberate with his actions, and I'm just really overjoyed with the fact I finally feel understood by someone. He seems to actually enjoy S with me, S in new inventive ways that I didn't even consider as a possibility 6 months ago. But more than that, he seems to actually enjoy being with me, getting to know me as a person. My wife was having fun. I've gotten a little fulfillment out of this and gained a lot of confidence. That's why it was such a shock to me when she came to me and said that she wanted to close our marriage again. Is this because you found someone you've got a genuine connection with by any chance? I'm thinking it might be. She said this was a temporary arrangement and she wanted to get serious about having children soon. Every time I think about agreeing to that, it feels like I'm losing something really important, like I'm shutting down this significant piece of myself. I eventually told her no, I'm not interested in closing our relationship. Now she's accusing me of being selfish and not caring about our future children. Am I the butthole? No! What? No! She pushed you to go and do something that initially you were not comfortable with. Granted, you found someone that you really connect with now. And I feel like the only reason she is now wanting to close the relationship is because she's seen that you've met someone you have a genuine connection with, and she does not like that. What she essentially wanted was a green light to cheat. That's what I think is going on here. She just wanted to go and put it about a bit and didn't want to have any backlash for it, hence why she pushed you into it as well, knowing probably that you're an awkward guy and wouldn't meet anyone, but her being like, yeah, no, you should do it too, would take any responsibility away from her. And now she's seen you've connected with someone and she's like, oh, hell no, I can't have that. It's a bit iffy, bit iffy, but I don't think the OP is the butthole in any way, shape, or form. This is what happens when you start messing around. And start doing things on a bloody whim. It comes crashing down. Open relationships are for people who are very comfortable in the lifestyle, and it is a lifestyle. It's not just something that you can say, we're going to open our relationship for a bit. No, oh no, now we have to close it. An open relationship is a lifestyle, and for people that are very enthusiastic about it. Otherwise, it's not going to work, clearly. Anyway, Am I the Asshole doesn't have a consensus, but OOP was pretty much found not to be the butthole by most commenters. And then down in the relevant comments of the original post, did OOP know he was attracted to men? OOP, I knew I was attracted to men prior to this, but it wasn't something I entertained as a real possibility. And then when I started entertaining it, I always saw myself in a different position than the one I'm in now, if that makes sense. I had some preconceived notions that you can't be masculine and bottom, or that you can't be masculine and be taken care of, be the little spoon. I have been proven wrong on many such occasions. Yeah, I think that this leads into that whole toxic masculinity thing that goes around a lot these days, and I mean has probably been a thing since, well, forever. Where it's like, if you have anything where you are not in charge all the time, you can't possibly be masculine, which is such bollocks. It's unreal. And clearly, the OP had some very toxic notions on what it meant to be a man. And I think it's good for OP that he's found this guy, because now he's going to hopefully learn how to accept that that's not true, and that you can be a masculine man and still, get topped now and then. Commenter 1. What I took away from this is that you don't feel understood by even your wife. Yeah, absolutely. And she doesn't like to have S with you. Pending further information, I would say you guys are not meant for each other. Don't bring kids into it. Amicably separating before having kids is the kindest thing for the both of you. Oh my goodness, absolutely. This does not seem like a good relationship to set the foundations of a family on. It really doesn't. I would not suggest that somebody with issues like this and such a clear misunderstanding between the two of them ever have kids. Because believe me, having kids with people that you don't have a good relationship with is a recipe for disaster. OOP, I don't necessarily think my wife doesn't enjoy S with me, but I don't come away from it feeling particularly good about myself. So yeah, there's a red flag right there, my guy. So it's not like I'm being berated or told I'm not doing things right, but I'm also not getting much verbal feedback at all. Communication, people, communication. It's so easy. On the other hand, S with him makes me feel confident, as it should. I feel a new appreciation for my body afterwards. Not sure if that's totally bizarre. No, it's not bizarre. He verbalizes a lot more than she does. And then this is where I feel weird all over again, because comparing the two of them feels wrong and disrespectful. Yeah, I can get why he'd feel like that, but we all compare people. It's a very natural thing to do, and I'm not being funny. If the OP's wife has not been fulfilling them in a emotional way, I am not surprised they're now looking at this guy and going, I feel so much better with you than I do with her, and she doesn't do this, but you do. It's such a natural thing to do. Is it bad that I'm kind of like, I really hope OP just goes with this guy instead? Leave the wife. Go with him instead. I feel like OP would be so much happier with this guy. Commenter 2, does it feel wrong because it's disrespectful, or because you feel like you should feel one way and you don't? Yeah. Like maybe a little internalized sort of, not homophobia in the sense that we think of it, as in someone being like, I hate anyone who's like that, but in a way of like, they feel like they shouldn't be with a guy because maybe they've been taught that men don't go with men and women don't go with women. So, it seeps into the brain and it's a subconscious thing. Maybe it's something like that. It seems to me that you may be feeling like your man is your man, but you made a promise to your wife and you have to keep that even though she's becoming less and less your woman. Even if you were 100% in agreement with having an open relationship, things changed between the two of you when it started, and that is the risk of opening your relationship. To me, your words for your man drip with love and appreciation, but you only seem to have friendly affection for your wife. That's what I'm reading. I'm not trying to say that's how you feel, just what I see. And then OOP says, I'm not a jealous person at all. I would never have agreed to this arrangement if I was. That being said, there are times when I'm like, damn, I would very much like to make some sort of show of commitment to him that says, this is mine, do not approach to everyone else. Mate, the writing is on the wall, you just got to read it. He should be with the guy. That's my opinion. Which makes me feel a little crazy, to be honest. I think he's found his person and he doesn't know what to do about it. Is OOP's guy interested in having a relationship with him? OOP, we've never specifically talked about that. I've been reluctant to. It's nerve-wracking. Oh, totally, I get you. Like opening up to someone and being like, here's my heart, please don't stamp on it, thank you. That's a lot. That is a lot. We have had conversations about how crazy it is that things fell into place when we met. Like, whoa, suddenly you're one of the most important people in my life. Oh, this is so cute. Suddenly I have clothes and a toothbrush in your apartment and I'm snoozing my alarm to stay in bed with you for a little longer. I've never been that type of person. Life is weird. Oh, that's so cute. Now, of course, normally I would never be like, oh, that's so cute about somebody having a relationship outside of their marriage, but the wife was the one who wanted him to go and do it. So I don't feel bad whatsoever for rooting for these two guys to just get together already. So then we have an update, which was not long ago at all, March the 5th, 2025, 5 days later. The last few days have been really emotionally exhausting. The first question I had to sit with was not whether I'd be happier in a relationship with my new partner, it was, would I be happier without my wife? I never wanted to go into this conversation with him feeling like this was one or the other situation. Talking to him without a decision made would feel disingenuous. It would be a D move to everyone involved. Like, if he said no, then I had my wife waiting in the wings. Absolutely get that, totally get that, because you don't want anyone to feel like they're an option or, a fallback. So I completely agree here. To me, that says neither relationship really mattered to me. I just want to be with someone. In my mind, there were only two options for how things would go when we spoke. I would either be ending things with him for my marriage, or I would be ending things with my wife. There was no taking a leap of faith and then crawling back to her with my tail between my legs. The conclusion I came to is that I'm just not fulfilled in my marriage. I'm also having these complicated feelings, kind of cycling through anger at her opening our marriage at all and pulling me out of my comfort zone, while also feeling so grateful for what it's taught me. A common theme in the comments of my last post was once the door's been opened, it can't be closed. And that's true. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I can't go back to not knowing how it felt to be understood and listened to. I can't unknow this feeling of trust. So I told her that I'm unhappy and that I'm going to be looking into separation options. I had a conversation with my guy and it went really well. I was just open and honest with him about how I feel, that he gives me things I've never had and never knew I could have. He said some really sweet things that are just for me and not the internet. Oh, too cute! There's no well-rounded end to this story yet. I have a lot more conversations to have. There's also so much more I want to say, so many emotions that I'd like to get down into words, but this is already very long. I just wanted to come and give a little update for those of you who were wondering. And then after that update, we have some more relevant comments. Commenter 1, thanks for the update. I'm glad you took the time to reflect. I'm glad you're not going to close up the marriage and simply be unhappy for the rest of your life. What was your wife's reaction? I always wonder what the partner who asks for this really thinks the outcome will be when it seems clear from the outside it was always a selfish, I want more attention from other people, that turns into, wait, I'm jealous my partner is getting fulfillment from someone besides me. Yeah, I totally think that that's what that was as well. OP, it wasn't a positive reaction. No shit, Sherlock. I wasn't expecting it would be. Lots of talking about how I made a commitment to her and that I was throwing that away for someone else. I just kept reiterating that it wasn't about him. It was about me. How I feel and how she makes me feel, that still hasn't gotten through to her. And I think that says all it needs to say, really, doesn't it? It just goes to show that she doesn't listen to you. Like, she is not hearing you, she's not considering you. And that says volumes about, the way she is with you and how she really sees you. Commenter 2. Glad to read you're prioritizing your own feelings and wants. Even gladder to read that you're planning a lot of conversations. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you as you navigate this new chapter. And then OP says, thank you. The conversations I've already had feel like perfect encapsulations of both relationships. One made me feel validated and understood. The other made me feel like she was hellbent on misinterpreting what I was saying. I just feel safe with him. Stop it, you little sweetie. And then OP responds to a comment on how he should have discussed feelings with his wife when she asked to open the relationship and his confidence with the whole thing. OP says, I never encouraged anyone to attack her. I've answered people's questions about my dynamic with her versus my other partner. I came here looking for advice, but mostly this has been helpful in forcing me to verbalize my thoughts. It's forced me to give words to all the things I've been feeling for a while. I also don't agree with a lot of the limerence infatuation crowd. I'm not a relationship hopper. I also don't consider myself polyamorous. I said this in another comment on my original post. It's a concept I was participating in, not something I see as part of my identity. This is not me getting swept away in some passing fling. It's me realizing I wasn't getting what I needed and that I like this confident version of myself more, a version that my wife seems to dislike. This is about me, not about him. That's something I've tried to explain to my wife as well. Yeah, I think this is more so OP realizing that, hey, I'm not cherished by my wife. She doesn't really care about my feelings. She doesn't see me as a person. She doesn't understand me. And I've been shown that actually I deserve more and I deserve someone who understands me and I deserve someone who wants to strive to make me feel good about myself and wants me at my most confident. And I think it's not so much about the guy because OP has actually said they want to make the decision on whether they leave the marriage, whether the new guy wants to start a relationship or not, which shows that they're not just doing it because they're going from one person to another, and they're not just doing it because they just want someone to be with. It is that they're having some realizations and they're realizing, you know what? I deserve better and I deserve to be happy. And I think that's great, personally. And then down in the comments of the Best of Redditor Updates post, Tack Wombat says it's a good thing that he figured this out before children were added to the equation and decided to separate from his wife. From the title of the post, I thought they already had kids. I did as well, and I was very confused. At first, I was like, huh? Wait, you don't have them? Okay. But no, I totally get it now. And then Deep Six says, oh my god, my exact train of thought. Went in going like, oh boy, here we go. And on that note, I kind of agree with the wife that, in theory, if they were going to have kids, sorting out the open relationship part and moving back to a closed relationship does sound like probably a better, less confusing situation for kids. I guess he could have always gone to an open marriage sub to figure out how to do that with kids. Haha. Yeah, see, I don't think it would have been a good idea to go to an open marriage sub to figure this one out, though, because they would have all been like, nah, it's fine, you can have an open marriage, it's all good. And that's not what OP was really after here. OP was more so wanting to figure out their own thoughts and feelings, I think, ultimately. But I'm glad he figured out that he wanted the separation after realizing he wasn't happy with his wife. And then Dryad Juaneth, maybe. I don't know. I think if you're hell-bent on having kids with someone and you think kids shouldn't be around an open relationship, pushing your spouse into accepting an open relationship is dumb as hell and also selfish. Go explore, but come back exactly when I say no discussion, otherwise you're a bad parent to our non-existent children. Bottom line, if it's always your way or the highway, some people will pick the highway. Acting surprised about that just makes her look worse. Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's really been glossed over by the OP. I feel like they're looking more about the overall feel of the relationship and how she makes him feel compared to how this other person has shown them that they can be made to feel. And I do think that's important. But I think also OP has actually kind of glossed over the fact that their wife pushed them into this open relationship malarkey that they weren't interested in at first for their own satisfaction, might I add, just because I think that the wife wanted to be able to shag other people and not feel bad about it, is essentially what I think that was. And then all of a sudden, when it doesn't suit her anymore, she's like, no, we've got to close it now. Because what about these non existent kids that actually aren't even a thing? Well, I'm sorry, love, but if that was going to be a problem, you should have thought about that in the first place. And I do think that OP's kind of glossed over that. And I think it's very important because it just goes to show how little the wife actually considers OP. Like, I know they said that their wife just doesn't make them feel good and what have you, but I think it goes further than that. I think the wife genuinely just sees OP as their belongings and someone that they can say, right, if I say we're doing this, we're doing this. And if I say we're doing that, we're doing that. And I'm sorry, OP, but you don't get a choice. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like OP's kind of like glossed over that. But at the end of the day, they're still separating. And I think that's really good. Whether OP gets with this new guy or whether they don't, I kind of hope they do. But even if they don't, I think OP now has a hell of a better perspective on the way that they should be treated and what they deserve in a relationship, which is really, really good. And I am very glad that they have that now. Okay, on that note, I think we'll leave it there for today. That was a very interesting one. When I first read the title, I thought that OP was going to be the butthole, I'm not gonna lie. I thought, oh, what's going on here? But no, colour me surprised. As always with these stories, the titles can be so just completely different from what you're reading. Like, you make assumptions, don't you? Like, you know what it is. You make assumptions off the first sentence you read, and then when you really get into the meat and potatoes of it, it's like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. I do love those stories, though. I do like that. It's like a little twist. Anyway, if you made it all the way to the end today, then I appreciate you very, very much. Don't forget to leave a little like and subscribe. I'd appreciate you even more if you did that. And you'll be able to find your way back here, for more videos, of course. I do want to eventually start posting daily again. I just need the time to do it. That's my only problem. Because I get burnt out very easily with having like multiple chronic health issues. Like, I burn out so easy. So I need to get a lot of the other stuff I've got going on at the minute out of the way, and then maybe I will. I don't know. But yeah, it's one of them at the minute. It's one of them. I'm kind of like, I really want to, but I just can't. Anyway, end of that waffle. I hope you have a good rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing today. And I am going to get off and probably record another one whilst I've got a little bit of time and energy, Goodbye!